Gardening doesn't need to be expensive. We're going to show you how we grow low-cost organic tomatoes. We grew this whole flat here for under $5. So we start with the plugs, and by plugs I mean like that. Not the 6-packs, because it uses a lot less soil. And it is worth spending the money on a good quality seed starter soil. That is one thing you want to spend money on. That's about the only thing we spent money on. The trays, you can get those through Free Cycle or Craigslist. Just announce that you want some. You probably get inundated with them. But anyway, they're quite easy to find. Now, how you pull them out, you have to be careful. You don't pull them straight directly out. You kind of work it a little bit until it pops loose. And then there's one tomato. And we're going to show you a couple of different varieties. We have a couple of varieties here. Yeah, we grow 2 different varieties. These are the Roma tomatoes. We use those for salsa, and pretty much most of the things we use the Romas. They work well. And you can see the leaves are a little more serrated than they are on the other one. Now this is a Brandywine, which is a good slicing tomato, good for hamburgers or salad or whatever else you want to use them for. And these are an heirloom variety. It's very important when you're growing a lot of tomatoes that you mark them. And here you see we have the Romas. That's made out of a milk jug. Just take a milk jug and cut it up and write Roma on it. And the other one, of course, is Brandywine. And you can watch that video on our YouTube video that we have about making low-cost plant markers. Well, we're on the subject of milk jugs. As you can see in our garden, we have upside-down milk jugs. And that's what we do is when you need to water, you just pour the water right in there. It takes the water down to the roots, and it gets in there quite nicely. I'm going to show you how to make it. Just, cut it. This isn't working out too well for the video, but you get the idea. And you just fold it open, and you just plant it in your garden. For choosing a good site, you want these things. You want a lot of sun. Tomatoes really like sun. And also, they are heavy feeders. You're going to want a lot of organic matter, compost, and stuff like that. And of course, compost is free. You don't have to pay anything for it if you do it yourself. We have already put several loads of compost in here. We turn the soil. You want to make sure you turn the soil good. And now the tomatoes are ready to plant. You don't need to add anything else to the soil now because we already put the compost in. Really nothing else is needed. You want to make sure you lay out the tomatoes before you start planting so that you can get an idea of where they need to go. Put them about a foot apart approximately, because they do get kind of big. Resist the temptation to cramp them too closely together. These tomatoes probably should have been planted a couple weeks ago. They're kind of big and they're kind of leggy. And if they're smaller, you're going to want to do this, but on ours you really don't. We're just doing this to show you. You just wrap it with newspaper, and what that does is that keeps the cutworms from getting at it. Cutworms can destroy your crop real quick. And then just make sure that sticks up out of the level of the soil a little bit, and that will protect it. But ours are big enough we don't really need to worry about that now. You can see that there are roots growing right there on the bottom of the plant. Roots grow wherever it touches the soil. So you can actually plant it sideways, and then we're going to dig a little trench, plant it sideways, and bend it up. Be careful not to break the stem though. Tomatoes are very resilient. If you plant them a little too deep, they're not really going to care that much. First of all, you pull these 2 little false leaves off. Sorry, not leaves. You dig a trench. Like that. And you plant it sideways while you're bending it up. Just like that. And there you go. You have a happy tomato plant. Tomato plants need to be staked. You may say to yourself, he paid $4 for this. Actually, I didn't. At the end of the growing season, you can get these all day long for free. People just want to get rid of them. They don't want to store them for the year. You put an ad on Craigslist, or you're looking for them, you'll get them. People will thrust them at you. You'll have too many of them. So anyway, we will put this in here. We have to remember where we put the roots. I put the roots like this, so I'm going to avoid them. And that's why you put them in now instead of waiting until it gets bigger, because you want to remember where you put the roots. And another way you can do it is with a stick. Sticks, of course, are no cost also. And you can put the stick in the ground and then tie it up with twine. As it gets bigger, you want to tie it a few times. That is another way to do it. I'm going to finish planting my tomatoes now. You can find out a lot more about low-cost organic gardening. Not necessarily organic, but a lot of times it is cheaper to grow organic. So you can find out more about low-cost gardening at our website, parsnipsandparsimony.com.